Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching session, and this is going to be a Leona game, so thank you very much to Vasilis for the generous donation. Let me go ahead and put a number 1 there, as I always do. This is patch 8.15, so there's a couple of days left on 8.15. Based on the PBE, I don't think a lot is going to change about Leona specifically for 8.16. She'll probably have a better time, actually, a little bit of better time, because they're nerfing, supposedly, on the PB right now, they're nerfing Electrocute, they're nerfing Airy, and Scorch, and Sudden Impact. So a bunch of other, just runes that she doesn't use. So whenever they nerf things that a champion doesn't use, that her competitors use, that's a good thing for the champion. So Leona might be a little bit better on this next patch. They are changing her around a little bit. I think they're lowering the cooldown on her W, but either way, it should be pretty much the same. I think maybe her W is going to be a little bit longer in the early game and shorter in the late game, but she's going to be about the same for 8.16 probably. Okay, and if you're just watching along at home, you can find access to this Google Doc in the description. I'll also have timestamps if you just want to jump straight to the game itself, or for some reason you want to jump to the post-game, we can do that. We're just going to talk really quickly about just runes and items, and then we'll go into the game, watch the game. I'll take some physical notes as we're watching it. And at the very end, I'll bring together the top 5 to 10 things that I think can help Vasilis gain some more elo. Okay, so the runes aren't super negotiable. The core runes, it's almost always Aftershock, Bone Plating, Conditioning, Unflinching. Aftershock's just really good with her. You're going to be in combat, you're going to have them stunned, so you're going to do that extra damage. And her W actually scales off of the bonus armor that you get off of Aftershock. So Aftershock gives you like a big flat amount of bonus, and then your W scales based on whatever your bonus is at the time. So let me just pull it up here. Now, I'm not 100% sure about the sequencing. I think you'll want to W them first, and then after you hit them, hit them first with your E, and then afterwards, after Aftershock is triggered, then you'll want to use your W. I'm not sure if they snapshot it in this game or not. And what I mean by that is I'm not sure if it updates constantly how much bonus you get off of Leona's W. I can pull it up real quick, too. Hopefully, this page has been kind of squirrely as of late. Okay, it's working. So, 20% of your bonus armor and 20% of your bonus magic resist comes in. I don't know if it's going to tell us if this is snapshotted or not. I assume it constantly updates unless it says otherwise. So, for instance, if you go from 100 armor to 200 armor, you would go from 20 bonus to 40 bonus. If it's snapshotted, then it would only check whenever you press the button for this. So, for example, if you press W first, and then you trigger Aftershock, then you may not get the Aftershock bonus that feeds into your W. I'd have to go to like a Leona main wiki to know exactly how that works. But I assume that it doesn't work as a snapshot. Okay. Oh, this doesn't even do... This used to have a percentage on it, and it doesn't do the percentage anymore. Okay, so I think if you want to do this absolutely perfectly, I think that you want to tag them first with your E so that you get the Aftershock proc first. You get all this bonus armor, and then you press W to make sure, just in case it snapshots. If it doesn't snapshot, it doesn't matter, but in general, you'll want to hit your E first and then W. Which is usually a pretty good practice in general. But that could be the difference. I mean, getting 20 extra armor could be a big deal on your W if you get that 100 extra armor in the mid-game. So, anyways, that's why you get it, is because, first of all, she's tanky. She's going to be in there. She's going to be, you know, taking damage, so Aftershock is good. But then also because that extra armor and magic resist scales with her W to amplify and give you even more. This is why Leona was considered, like, pretty overpowered at the start of the season when Aftershock was far stronger. And I think she got some direct nerfs as well, but she's still really good. But that's why this rune Aftershock is just so strong on her, because of the W scaling. So you have to have that. You have to have Bone Plating, because Bone Plating is just really overpowered still. The third slot is a little more variable. I think that conditioning works really well because, once again, that gives you bonus armor and magic resist, which does scale with your W. So it feeds into your W even more. But if you're afraid of like an all-in burst before 10 minutes, like maybe you're against a Brand or a Zyra or something like that could fight you, or a Draven, you could go Chrysalis for the extra health early. That can be handy. You don't necessarily need the extra AP or AD later in the game, but having the 50 extra HP early is a big deal. Or Second Wind, if you think you're really going to get poked and harassed out, you could consider Second Wind, although you can take Biscuits to mitigate some of that as well. That is an option though, but in general, I think that conditioning is really good just because it scales to the W. The last tree here is pretty trash, honestly, on Leona. This is one of the weakest like rows in the game on any runes. Just because Overgrowth's it's just terrible. It's really bad. You almost never want to go Overgrowth. It's a cool effect, like stacking health. It's just that it takes too many minions to do it. If they lowered it to 6 minions to get to that 0.5%, then that would be a lot better. But as it stands, it's a little on the weak side. She can't use Revitalize. She doesn't have any heals or shields herself, and she usually doesn't get... She does get Locket down the line, but it's not enough, I don't think, to run Revitalize. So you're just kind of stuck with Unflinching, which is okay. It does give you some tenacity, but realistically, it's not that great, but you just have to take it. So you need Aftershock. Bone Plating's good. This row's respectable, and this row's pretty trash, but you just kind of have to have it. So I think that Unflinching is the least bad option. And then pretty much everybody is going to go Insight next. Like, there's not really another tree that you wouldn't want to go into. And she doesn't really need Sorcery. She doesn't have huge ratios on her abilities. So the AP doesn't matter. You just want more health as your base stat, so Inspiration is good for that. I think Inspiration, especially after the next patch, is going to be the best tree, or one of the best trees. I mean, I guess she does have a nice ratio on her ult, but either way, you want to go into Inspiration, but there are a lot of different options. Inspiration has the best variety of runes, I think. A lot of people will take Hex Flash. Now, this is nice if you get used to it and you can use it to, you know, flash forward and, you know, sneak attack somebody with an E to start a fight. That's going to be the hardest one to use by far, because you have to time it really carefully when you're going to do that. So a lot of people, like challengers, will go Hex Flash. You can get that if you want to. It does take some practice, and that can be helpful, but I would recommend just going something like Perfect Timing. It's a good value that allows you to be more aggressive, especially early on with dives, if the jungler shows up. It's just a really handy rune. Like, you're not going to upgrade it to Zanya's or anything like that, but still just getting a one-time use out of that just allows you to engage into a really dangerous situation and buy time. So I think that Stopwatch is probably where you want to be. Magical Footwear is a good bargain, but the problem is on champions that roam and have really good engage like Leona, you really want to get those your tier 2 boots early, and so you don't want to have to wait around for the boots. So it's a good idea, but in general, you want boots faster than this rune's going to give you the boots. As a secondary, Biscuit Delivery can be very good if you're against a poke lane, so it's helpful. And then down here, I think Cosmic Insight could be good. I mean, 5% CDR is great, especially on tanks, because you're not going to be able to have access to a lot of CDR as the game goes on, but you have very powerful cooldowns that are fairly long. Your base cooldowns are all, like, at least your W and your E are going to be over 10 seconds for a lot of the game. So having that extra 5% is nice. Her flash cooldown is very strong because she can flash Q and start fights really easily, or flash E on people. So she gets a lot of mileage out of these things, and then eventually you will get Locket, so that extra 5% item cooldown can be helpful as well. So Cosmic Insight's a fantastic bargain. So I would recommend Perfect Timing and Cosmic Insight, but depending on the situation, you could also go Hex Flash or Biscuit Delivery. So it's just going to depend on sort of what's going on. As far as build order, you want to get mobility boots if at all possible. If they start getting fed on the enemy team, you might have to get something like Ninja Tabby, but mobility does let you roam around the map and make plays as much as possible. She has a really long, or a really short cooldown ultimate compared to a lot of other big engage ults. It's only 90 seconds. So, like, compared to Rakan's, it's like 140. So you really want to be running around trying to make plays as soon as possible as you can with her. Then you want to go Zeke's after that, because you have a short cooldown ult and you can stick to people. Giving that extra damage to somebody close by is really helpful. Yeah, so Zeke's is just kind of a no-brainer. It's very, very good on her. I think Knight's Vow is probably what I would go next. Gives you some protection, gives an ally some protection. Great combination with Zeke's. And then Locket is a good follow-up item. once you have the extra health. And you want to upgrade to tier 3 on your the Relic Shield line item as well, just because you don't get the 10% CDR until tier 3. You really want that CDR, and you really want wards, so you're going to have to upgrade that as well. So you probably won't get all of these items before the game is done, but I think getting Moby Boots, the tier 3 ward item, and then Zeke's is important. Now, the Relic Shield tier 3 is the only one that I recommend upgrading to tier 3 if you're below Diamond, because usually you don't upgrade like your Spell Thieves to tier 3 because people aren't going to fight you for wards that hard early on. It's like, it's helpful, it's a luxury, but usually you want to complete your first couple of items first. But with tanks, because the tier 2 doesn't have 10% CDR, then you get a lot of extra value by upgrading it to get that CDR. So that's just kind of like a tank tax, unfortunately, because you really, really want that CDR. So that's what I would probably get. And then you want to max your W, and then your E, then your Q. So your Q always has the same cooldown, so you don't need to max that. You're mostly maxing stuff to get the cooldown reduction on it. Then your W is your tankiness. That's your AoE, like damage in team fights, to put your passive on everybody for the sunlight procs. Then your E is to start fights. So I think that's probably the way I would do it. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. And remember, if I'm looking down or whatever, it's because I've got my trusty physical notes here that we're going to be taking, and then we'll bring it all together at the end into some final recommendations.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. 30 seconds until minions spawn.
Okay, so I would definitely not go Airy. Like, Airy is really only if you are consistently applying poke in lane, and Leona can't do that from range. So if for an all-in situation, which is what you're going to do as Leona, whenever you go in, you're going to try to go for kills a lot of the time, or for huge chunks of damage. You really want to do Aftershock. It's going to do more damage, and it's going to give you more protection. So, I mean, in my mind, really, that's the only damage rune I would take. I mean, I wouldn't even do Comet, or I wouldn't even do Electrocute. If you want to do something that's like burst damage when you go in, that's like the highest damage, you could try Electrocute. Like, Electrocute into like Sudden Impact or something, but I just don't think it's worth it. You absolutely want to go Aftershock on her, so that's definitely something you can do. Q first is okay. You stayed there too long, though. Let's rewind this. So, like, helping your jungler is nice, but you can't fall behind in lane. Like, if you miss any minions, then they're going to hit their level 2 first, and they can really exploit that. Now, they aren't the most dangerous lane in the world. At level 2, but, like, if Triss jumps on you and you're level 1, like, there's not really a lot you can do about that, and she's going to turn level 2 shortly, so, you know, give a couple of hits to your jungler or whatever, help them out, but like as soon as the minions are almost there, you gotta leave. And make sure you get all that experience, because the level 2 power spike is a very, very big deal. Especially in solo queue. Like, I don't know which elo this is, but it's almost always a big deal. I mean, I've even seen professional players get caught off guard and killed by the level 2 all-in. As Leona, that's something you can really use to your advantage, too. Like, you can ping them and say, hey, let's get level 2 first, and then as soon as you get your E and your Q, you can go in and try to kill him. I would have probably taken that shot on him right there, because you had minions coming in. Ezreal had a clean shot at him. Their minions weren't there yet, so... I would have definitely taken that shot on Triss with the E. You probably could have chunked her to at least half health. Oof, that's gonna be rough. Yeah, you had Flash and Ignite. Alright, let's see here. Like, so you're taken out to, like, half here. You're at half health, he's at half health. Minions are about even, so you really don't want to take this fight. I know she, like, Triss just burned her flash and her heal a second ago. So that's pretty good, but like, oops, not that. But you, once that happens, you don't want to take that fight anymore. You're taking way too many free hits. Like, you took half your health just trying to get the last hit on this. Like, you gotta wait until it's lower, you know? Yeah, I would have definitely, like, if you want to go all in like that, you need to ignite. If you have ignite up, you need to try to ignite before they heal. So yeah, I think it was bad. I think it was a bad idea to go for that when you're already so low. Although I do think earlier on when Triss was wide open here, I would have gone for it. Keep in mind, Malphite's not really going to do a lot this early in the game, so if you're going to fight somebody, you need to try to start with Triss a lot of times.
A summoner has reconnected.
You got it back, I think. I mean, she could just jump on you and maybe get out, like, if this wave comes in, I don't know, she may not do it. It is really close. Whoa, what is... Okay, that's a good grab. Yeah, I was about to say, where's the jungler is probably going to show up. He came from your jungle there? I was about to say, after you killed the first one, yeah, he ran from your jungle. Yeah, I just don't think there's any way y'all kill him. And then, like, he may not, like, maybe he doesn't run from your jungle, like, that's a little unexpected, but, like, you don't have any of this warded over here yet. And it's hard to ward over there, to be fair, because you don't have your ward item yet, and they've had you pushed in. But that means you can't really, like, chase. If a fight's gone on for a little bit, like, the jungler could be anywhere on this side of the map, and he could already be rotating there. So unless your jungler's in the area to help out, you really don't want to chase people past, you know, like right here without better vision. Back up. Yeah, you're taking way too much free damage. You just gotta stick around. I mean, this is one of the problems with, like, a melee champion that has no like, range at all, is like Leona. If you fall behind, you can't really farm under towers, you're just gonna die. They're gonna kill you if you stay here. Probably.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay, gotta just... Yeah, in general, you don't want to, like, it's not worth it, even if you get one minion, to take, like, half of your bar, you know, in damage. Because then you're losing out on all the experience. Like, the experience is kind of the more important thing there. You're just trying to stick around for experience, pretty much. Like, if you were, you know, Nami or some other ranged champ, like, you might be able to, you might be able to get a couple of CS under that tower, but as Leona, you just can't really do it. And these guys were taking it really easy on you too. Like, if that Malphite took the aggro, like if he Qs you or something, grabs the aggro, and then Triss jumped on you anytime when you were down here, then they would have killed you. So they just kind of goofed up that opportunity. Oh, I thought you got him. Yeah. Oh, I thought you got him. That would have been a nice play. Yeah, this is rough because Ezreal's AFK. Yeah, I mean, I think roaming up here might be a good... I don't know if Garen can... Maybe. He's only level 6. Yeah, I think y'all got him. Oh, he is melting. Okay, yeah, good roam. And so that's what you gotta do, you know, if your AD carry's not there, bot lane's gone, yeah, just try to roam somewhere. What are you doing item-wise? You definitely need boots. Like, once you see that first tower break, you have to have boots because you know you're going to have to run around in an open lane. So you got to have at least brown boots and probably Moby boots. I don't know, against Nocturne you might have to get Ninja Tabby. Because they do have a lot of AD. Oh wait, you have the Nocturne, why am I... I don't know why I thought they had the Nocturne. Okay, so you have the Nocturne. Yeah, maybe Ninja Tabby then, or Moby Boots then, so you can run around and try to help mid lane and top lane. How's mid doing? Doing pretty well actually. It's really crushing that rise. How did you get? Yeah, that's kind of tricky because he ran the other way, but he did ping it. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that. And y'all really don't want to fight them. And if Nocturne doesn't have his ult and Triss has Stormrazor, you really don't want to fight him. So you have to kind of like, before you're about to start any fight, and I'm guilty of not doing this all the time myself, but before you're going to start any fight, you have to press tab, look at their items, and just think like, is it a good idea if we fight them? You know, like, how strong are they? And check the cooldowns on your allies too. Just look for those green dots that are usually like right here. And just see like, okay, Nocturne doesn't have ult. Tristana's got Stormrazor, and Malphite probably has his ult ready. So yeah, there's no way you guys are gonna. And Triss can blow it back and jump away from it. Like, it's just too hard to stick to Triss, especially without Nocturne's ult. Like right there. That's another case of like, you know, Nocturne doesn't have his ult and there's no way you're gonna kill her by yourself. Especially, you did have Ignite. It was close, but... I don't think y'all want to fight that. No, you don't have vision. You don't have vision. Chris is really fed. Yeah, y'all can't do that. Like, Nocturne was too far away to make a play. Let me go back and look at this with you real quick, and then we'll speed back up to it. Okay, so you know it's a 4v5 to start with. Ezreal's not here. You gotta kind of just wait on him to come back, probably. You have no vision here. We know Trist is here. We know Nocturne's down here. So if you're looking and thinking, okay, should we try to fight this or not? Like, it looks like you probably have numbers, right? Because there's 3 of you and just, all you saw was Tristana. But you know that Ezreal's not here. You know that Nocturne's not on this side of the map. And none of them are visible on the map, except for Aatrox, who is rotating down. So, it's highly probable that there's going to be at least 2 people here. So it's minimum going to be a 3-on-3. And Misfortune is really low, you know, to start with. And Tristana's really fed. Right, so she's got 5 kills. And she's hard to catch. Like, she's very slippery in the first place. You know, she's going to have her ult, she's going to have her W. I don't know if you were tracking her cooldowns or not, but if you're not sure about the flash, like, she probably has her flash too. So yeah, it's a really bad idea. And you don't have any vision whatsoever there, well, so like not in this bridge way over here. Well, you may or may not have Ezreal back. Alright, well, he's actually back, but he's super far behind, so... I think they should give you, like, some experience if you're AFK. I mean, I guess they give you catch-up experience if you're so many levels behind. I guess that's fine. You definitely need boots. 100%. You need boots right now. Good interrupt. Ooh, I don't know why he used his E like that, but okay. Alright. Okay, that was a good fight. It was a good cleanup. Yeah, try to get this tower. Y'all got 3 dead. You have 3 of them dead. That's fine. I guess the death timers are still pretty short, but... I would probably try to push that mid tower a bit harder. Close, don't let Malphite kill you. Okay. Yeah, good. That was a nice cleanup. Not a huge fan of going Locket. Like, Locket did help there, but Locket gets better as you get higher levels, as you get more levels, and as you get more HP. So I think you need at least 1 HP item before you get... So I would probably get Val before you get Locket. Minimum. Zeke's doesn't make a lot of sense here. Well, I mean, Nocturne is really fed, so Zeke's would actually be really good on Nocturne. I would either go for a Knight's Vow or a Zeke's to start with, just because then when you get your locket later, you're gonna have more levels and you're gonna have the health off of Knight's Vow, and if you upgrade your ward item to the tier 3. Also, like, locket doesn't have any CDR on it, and you really, really want CDR as Leona. As most supports, you want it, but especially as Leona, because you have longer cooldown spells. You know, like a lot, your W and your E are going to be more than 10 seconds, and so you get a lot of extra value out of CDR. You know, if a support has a spell that they can cast every 5 seconds, right? You have 40% CDR. That's only going to save you 2 seconds, but if you have 40% CDR and it's a spell that has a 10-second cooldown, then that's going to save you 4 seconds. So CDR is especially valuable on chance to have longer base spell cooldowns. Leona's one of those chances. So, and all of her spells are pretty high impact. Because the E and the Q gives CC, and so does the ult. So that's why I probably wouldn't start on her. Although it is a good item on her, I just think you need more CDR to start with. You go ahead and turn around. You're out of cooldown, so just run. Just run. Just want to make sure you don't give them free kills a lot of times. Like, you've done a pretty decent job of, like, you know, rotating out when you're low. You just want to make sure that you don't get caught, like, unnecessarily giving away a free death. Alright, that was good. Y'all are catching up. This Nocturne's really strong right now. You definitely need a lot more wards on this map. Oh, you haven't completed this yet. Oh man. Yeah, you got to start prioritizing that. Yeah, you gotta really work on whenever there are creeps around, you gotta be around people and trigger this stuff, because yeah, it's like 20 minutes in and you've only got about 300 gold on your gold item. I know it's rough early, like you couldn't trigger it a lot in lane, but you only get the gold for it if somebody else is nearby. Like, you do get gold, but it only goes towards the warding item if somebody else is nearby. A good trick if you're trying to, like, last hit is you can auto attack, and then if you press Q, it resets your auto attack and does a little bit of extra damage. That's a nice trick for, like, helping your last hit cannons if you have a hard time last hitting cannons. Hit the eye, Garen. Hit the eye, Garen. Okay. A good find, good find. You also definitely need to be buying Control Wars. I mean, I know it's kind of rough times that you weren't able to do a lot towards your gold item in lane because Ezreal is DC'd, but you should at least be buying like Control Wards every time you back. I know it feels bad, like when you're behind, you're like, man, I'm really far behind on items, we had this DC, like I need to buy more power, but like Control Wards are really the most important item you can buy. That's what allows you to make good plays so that you can come back. So that you can find people to pick off. So that you don't run into massacres like what happened earlier when y'all were fighting over here. No, y'all do not want to fight this. You can get out of there. It's like 2v4. Ha! Keep running, baby. Don't turn around. Don't you turn around. Keep going. My god, I don't even know how you made it out of there. Alright. Just run. Oh gosh. I thought Warwick was gonna come in and kill you. Okay, well that was that was fortunate.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Fight's itemization. Alright, okay, that was a great catch. Good job. Let's see if you can stop the, okay, I think y'all clean this up. I'd probably Baron here. I think you're only going to be able to get to the tier 2 before they spawn. Immediately goes for blue. Yeah, I would have Baron. I think Baron, like, your Nocturne's big enough. He's got some armor. Yeah, I think y'all definitely wasted this opportunity. Like, general rule of thumb, if you get an ace and you can do it fast enough, you should do Baron. That's Baron or Inhibitor. It's the highest priority. If it's a tower plus an inhibitor, that's probably better than Baron. I don't know, though. They buffed Baron quite a bit recently. But, like, if you can get at least one tower plus inhibitor, that's probably better than Baron. But if it's not base tower plus inhibitor, then you should definitely be doing Baron. Like, just getting a tier 2 outer tower. I think he just got this outer tower, too. Even 2 tier 2 outers, I don't think that's worth the Baron. If you guys get Baron, you can easily get all of the outers. You could get Baron plus all 3 outer towers. Because people really can't defend outer towers against the Baron does.
Shut down.
Baron is a super powerful objective, and just with how fed this Nocturne is, I'm pretty sure y'all could have done it. He has the lifesteal, he has, you know, the armor, 40 armor there, some open ninja tabby. I think y'all definitely could have done it. You have 2 other 80 carries, Misfortune and Ezreal. Even with Misfortune randomly going to get blue, I think the 4 of you could have still done Baron fast enough.
Blue team is
Because it's going to take them about 30 seconds to run over there. Like, once they spawn. So I think most people, when you got that ace, I'm pretty sure most of the people that mattered had at least 20 seconds on the clock, and it would have taken you probably 5 to 10 to walk over there. So you would have had a good 30 plus seconds to kill the Baron, and that's just a lifetime. Yeah, y'all definitely need to vision. Several times now y'all walked into really bad situations. Yeah, this Nocturne's just like going really hard this game. Just murdering everybody. You still don't have this completed at like 30 minutes. You got to figure this out, man. Like, you have to, like, if you have to, tell your team, say, hey, let me get some minions off of this. If they keep taking the minions too quickly, if they keep ward clearing too quickly for you, then it's okay to say something like, hey, let me get stacks, I need wards. Like, ping your ward item and say, hey, let me get stacks. I wouldn't go Warmogs here. I know that seems like it's cool, like it's a combo with Remnant of the Aspect or whatever. But you don't even have the 3,000 health. Like, it's not worth getting this item pretty much ever as support, but definitely not worth it if you don't get the Warmog's Heart for the extra health regen. You're basically paying, I think it costs 3,000 gold. I don't remember exactly how much it costs in the shop, but it's something like 2,800, 3,000 gold, something like that. Gold's worth 2.66 each. So I think it's somewhere close to 2,000 gold worth of health. Just rough numbers. I don't have the exact numbers in my mind, but you get about 2,000 gold worth of health, and then like just a 200% health regen is, I don't know off the top of my head. It might be worth 600 gold. I think a Reju bead gives you 50%, and that's 150. So that's 600 gold. Like, just the Reju bead type of health regen is not worth it at the end of the day. So basically, I think you're paying somewhere close to 20. You're paying somewhere close to like 3,000 gold for 2,600 gold worth of stats if you don't activate that passive on Warmogs. So you're actually losing gold. It's not even 100% efficient. Whereas if you get Knight's Vow, I don't remember the exact calculations on it, but it's something like 150% efficient, at least. So definitely want to get Knight's Vow. Plus, this doesn't do anything to protect your team. It does boost up the Locket. It boosts the Locket shield, which is nice. But so does Knight's Vow a little bit. And Knight's Vow gives you healing in fights, because if you put it on someone like Nocturne who's dealing a lot of damage, it heals you, gives you armor, gives you health, gives you CDR. Oh, I forgot Warmogs does give you CDR also. We can look at it after the game. I still don't think, I think it's under 100% efficiency for sure if you don't have passive active. Yeah, y'all don't want to be fighting this. Misfortune's over there getting blue. Like, should Misfortune be getting blue right now? No. But is she? Yes. So, that's something that's really hard that you have to try to come to terms with eventually. It's like sometimes, like, doing the right thing is not necessarily the right thing, you know, if your team's not in the position to deal with it. Inhibitor, ping, ping. Well, actually, no, he can't. Tristana's coming up. He's gonna die to Tristana, probably. But, Yeah, you just gotta notice. Just look at the minimap and just see if someone on your team's doing something goofy, like randomly getting a blue buff when the rest of your team is trying to pressure. Then you gotta just ping back and say, no, 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 wait on misfortune. That's something I've struggled with a lot too. Like, it's a never-ending battle to try to herd your team, you know, to be in the right place, but a lot of times the best play is no play. Just because if your team's not there, like, a play that could be good actually turns out to be really bad. Like, if they aced you there, that was a pretty close fight. She showed up at the very last second to help out. Like, if they aced you there, it's rough. This game is actually pretty close. I mean, gold-wise, you guys are ahead, but if they get a clean fight... Like, right here, y'all don't need to be doing this, because Nocturne's top lane. You have no idea where they are. Don't go on that, don't go on that. You're just gonna die. Yeah, like... Let me go back here. So you gotta pause and look at the minimap and think about, like, what's going on here, okay? So what's the current situation of this game? You have an open inhibitor, or they have an open inhibitor. You've caused their inhibitor to be open. You'll only know where Aatrox is. Now, I say this all the time on stream, in that if the enemy team doesn't have map pressure, so if you're winning, if you're pushing them in, they are much more likely to be grouped than your team because they just have less places they could possibly be on the map. Like, the only places they could be right now are this little zone, right? This little dark zone, most likely, that's all they can be in. Whereas your team can take up this entire map, right? They can be anywhere. So they have all these distractions, all these things they could be doing, like blue buff, wolves, scuttle, you know, whatever. And so you have to be very, very vigilant when you're winning and you're trying to close out it, looking at the map, seeing where people are, and directing them. Say, hey, let's group middle. Let's get this open inhibitor. Or, hey, I'm going to get vision around red buff. Let's go fight them for this dragon that's coming up in 30 seconds. So you got to give them something to do. And just understand that if you see one of them, it's like cockroaches. They're all going to be there, unless you have vision, because they can't be anywhere else. Like, if they're not right here in this bush, they're going to be somewhere close. They're going to be walking over here, or they might be, like, over here, you know, doing some wolves or something. Like, they're going to be very, very close. So you don't know where they are. It's highly probable there are multiple people. Whenever you spot one of them, you're going to see a lot of them. But you know where your people are. Ezreal's over here farming this side wave. Nocturne's over here. And Misfortune's dead for 20 seconds. So you don't want to cross river unless you have backup a lot of the time. Unless you have a very, very special reason to do so. Like, walking into here, this is like ground zero. They are definitely going to be in this area, trying to farm their jungle. Yeah, so you just got to pause and think about that. Because it's like, there's about a 0% chance something positive comes out of that. You and Garen are not going to kill somebody, most likely. And your big, like, also, like, your really powerful person is top lane. Nocturne's top, and he's the person that has all of your kills. He's got like 17 kills. So, like, should Nocturne be up there randomly pushing this side wave? No, but he is. So you just gotta work with, you know, what's going on. Now, he can probably fight one or two of them, but they're definitely gonna collapse on him. No, you need to ping back. Ping back, don't. He shouldn't be doing that. Because if he dies, y'all are in big trouble. They might be able to get Baron if he dies. Okay, now y'all should go do Dragon. He does have his ult. Definitely need to be buying more control wards. I don't know what... Should never really see a Forbidden Idol. I mean, maybe you're going Redemption here. Like, a Zeke's on this Nocturne right now would be insane. He's gonna die, and that might give him...
Blue team is slain.
Y'all don't have, like... Alright, you need to ping him back then, if y'all are going to be over here. I mean, it is good to push this wave up. Like, someone's got to get this wave, I agree with that. But you need to ping him back and tell him not to do it. Because they're all going to want to go for dragon. Because they see 2 of you right here. So they know that if they start this fight, there's going to be at least 2 people missing. Run, run, do not fight this, do not fight this. No, no, no. Oh, it's so scary. Like, they're screwing up a lot here. Like, Malphite didn't use his exhaust. I don't even know, like, they basically, it was a 5 on 4 without your strongest person. No, 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 no. Y'all don't chase him. You got. I feel like you got really lucky that y'all didn't get cleaned up right there. I mean, maybe I'm underestimating like your power here, but I feel like y'all are taking a lot of like heavy risks. If you lose this fight, like they definitely get Baron. Those guys are about to spawn though. 2 of them are about to spawn. It's just you 2 right here. Like y'all are. I mean, Ezreal's kind of coming. Miss Fortune's got to stop off and get the wolves real quick. But yeah, y'all can't chase that far. You got to stop and look at the minis. He's gonna suicide. I mean, Nocturne might be strong enough to kill them all with Garen. If Miss Fortune cleared their jungle, she might come over here and chip in. Okay. Alright, y'all just... I don't... It's just gonna be Ryze. Get 2 inhibitors. Yeah, get 2 inhibitors. If Ryze steps out and you kill him, you can probably win. You got 15 seconds on Warwick. Where's this Fortune going? Yeah, y'all should back up. Y'all should back up. Just go get Baron. Just go get Baron. Go get Baron. Go get Baron. Go get Baron. Y'all don't have Ezreal. You kind of split up. I don't know. Like, y'all are getting away with a lot of stuff because you're really far ahead. Because they're making a ton of mistakes, but... Malphite's build is like ridiculous too. Alright. Yeah. May have finally caught up with y'all here a little bit, taking some of these bad fights. But you do have 3 inhibitors down. I mean, I would try to go over here with Ezreal and just tell him to just shoot Qs and just distract him, just stall him. Like Miss Fortune can do some make it rains on him or something. Because they're pretty low, and like, the longer you can keep them from going back to their base, the more likely their base is to burn. So I would have directed them to have some kind of presence here, like not necessarily go for a steal, but like if Ezreal just stands here and just like throws Qs at him, like Miss Fortune just casts like some make it rains or something, or like she didn't have her ult to ult the pit, but I feel like just having some kind of presence there would have been helpful. But so you definitely want to check the mini-map before you fight. What do you got here? Redemption. I mean, Redemption's okay. I think that just getting Knight's Vow at some point would be really beneficial. Because if you had a Knight's Vow and a Zeke's on this Nocturne, he would be pretty much unstoppable. Yeah, drop Redemption, lock it. You have him, right? As soon as someone gets engaged on like that, I would just go ahead and drop Redemption. Drop it right here. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment on Redemption and lock it. Just it's like as soon as this fight starts, just go ahead and drop it most of the time. It's gonna be useful. It's gonna heal. It's also gonna deal good like true damage to the enemy. Did you use Redemption? I think it. Okay, use it at some point. I must have just missed it. Okay. I mean, overall, it was some good fights, good micro in the fights. Like, you were getting some good stuns, some good snares on the right targets and things like that. I think a lot of it is just picking the right fight. Y'all got away with a lot of stuff this match. There were a lot of 4v5s that you won. Like, they were messing stuff up. Malphite, if Malphite would have just built, like, AP Malphite, or if he just actually got, like, support items, like if he got, like, Knight's Vow, Locket, Zeke, something like that, I think that y'all might have been in a bit more trouble. But their itemization was a little on the weird side. So they just weren't as effective as they could be. And they were just goofing up a lot of those fights. They were goofing them up bad. So you guys were like starting some fights that should be unfavorable, but they just weren't executing well. And so you were able to overcome them just with like Nocturne's raw power in most of these fights. Because he got so fed and he's just such a strong champion right now. Okay, so the main things to start with here, just in terms of like runes and itemization, okay, so these are kind of the three biggest ones, I think. Take Aftershock for sure. It's like every Leona takes Aftershock. Trust me, it'll change your whole world if you take that item, because it's going to give you more damage than Aerie is, surprisingly enough, off the Aftershock burst damage that it does, and it's going to give you a ton of extra survivability in fights. You won't believe it. You'll be like, oh my god, I'm unkillable. It's so strong. And then, I don't know if you had Chrysalis and Bone Plating. I couldn't tell what your secondaries were. I know you had, like, Nimbus Cloak, because I heard that trigger. Yeah, just take that, and then, you know, I think Inspiration is the place to be, too. Just, you know, at least grab you a Stopwatch, Cosmic Insight, something like that. I think you'll be surprised how strong it is. But the big one is Aftershock. Like, you have to have that. It's so strong on Leona. It is basically what got her permabanned at the beginning of the season. So you definitely want to do that. Warmog, I said I'd look that up after the game. What did I say? I said it was going to be under 100%. I don't remember the exact numbers on it, but let's see. It is actually a 3,000 gold value, so I was a little wrong there. It's 105% efficient. So it is gold efficient by itself without rest. 750. That must be the heart of the Warmog or whatever. If you get that passive going, then it's, you know, a lot more gold efficient. But without that passive, it's a bit tougher. Now, a lot of this is going to be difficult to calculate because of the unique passives. So, like, it's 125% efficient, but that doesn't include the 12% damage mitigation for armor and magic resist. So even if we're saying that it's like, and it gives you 12% like spell vamp and lifesteal on your opponent. Like, I've done this number before in, like, my itemization video. It comes out to being somewhere around, like, 150 to 180% efficient, depending on how you want to calculate it, but it's very, very good. So, like, if we look up, let's see here. League lifesteal. I forgot how much it's worth exactly. It's got 15 attack damage, 37.5. And I don't think Spell Vamp exists in the game anymore. It's only on that one other item. But we'll just say it's the same thing as lifesteal, which it would be worth more than that. So 37.5. You have 12% lifesteal and 12% spell vamp. Just for simple math, we'll say it's worth the same. So times 24. Like, just that, the vamp, like how much healing you get off of that is worth about 900 gold in and of itself. And then you have the 12% mitigation off of armor or off of physical and magical damage, which is, you know, even if you count that as, you know, being somewhere close to even just at like 12 armor, which is it's worth more than 12 armor and 12 magic resist, but like 12 armor's worth 20 apiece. So that's what, 240, magic resist's worth 18. That's 1336 extra gold on this item, just roughly off of this passive. So, let's see here. Base gold value. Okay, so then we'll do plus 1733 plus 400. The armor that you get. I won't even count the movement speed. Divided by 2200. There it is, 157% efficient, not including the movement speed on it. So yeah, I was pretty close on the numbers, although I did underestimate Warmogs just a little bit. But just trust me, Knight's Vow is really, really good. You want to get Knight's Vow early on. So I would definitely get Knight's Vow, don't do Warmogs, take Aftershock, highly consider getting Zeke's. Okay, the other major points here, just in terms of itemization, I think that'll help you. So try not to fight if you don't have, like, if you're lower health than the enemy, or if you're missing core cooldown. So if you miss one of your key abilities, or you don't have your ult, or they have heal and you don't, or whatever, just be very, very careful of that. I'm talking about that one time in lane when you started that fight and you were at 50% health. Like, that was really rough. So, you know, make sure that you don't do that unless you're a champion, like, you know you can kill them even if you're really low, like an assassin type of champion. But just in general, you don't want to take fights like that. So press tab, look at items and CDs. So look at your item, look at the enemy's items. Like, every time they come back to lane, you should tab and see what they bought and think, okay, how does that stack up against what we have on our team? You know, so if they have a completed big item, if they have like Storm Razor and you're still sitting on, your AD carry is still sitting on pieces of Storm Razor, it's going to be a really hard fight. To check the items, check the cooldowns, you know, make sure if you're about to fight with Nocturne, make sure he has his ult. You know, just make sure that it looks like it's a fight you can actually win. So just pause for a second as you're coming back. Just think about it. Plan the fight before you do it and just say, okay, should I try to take this fight? And if it's a check mark, if it's yes, then look for an opportunity to fight. But always, like, figure out whether it's a fight you actually want to take before you go for it. So make sure you're pressing that tab. So try not to fight without proper vision. That one fight near the Baron area kind of early on was really rough. I think you lost 3 people there, 2 or 3 people. But yeah, if you don't know where they are, just as a general rule of thumb, just don't fight. Like, especially if your whole team is not there. Like, you know where your team is, right? So Misfortune was off getting blue or whatever. Ezreal was like AFK in the base. You know, if you know your people aren't there, then it's highly probable it's going to be a bad fight because, you know, yeah, they might only have 3 people too, and it's a 3v3, but there's a huge risk there could be a 4th or a 5th person there if you don't see them on the map. So make sure you have proper vision. So make sure you get that vision sooner. Like I said, I know it was kind of tough luck early on because the Ezreal was AFK so much. But, like, whenever there's a wave going on, just tell your team, say, hey, let me get stacks. Like, ping your thing, and they'll give them to you because they're not going to be missing gold. They're probably just not thinking about it. They're zoned out. They're listening to music. They're not even paying attention to the fact that you don't have wards. So just ping your ward item. It'll tell them how much gold it takes you to complete that item. Ping the item and say, hey, let me get this wave, and then ping it. Ping, like, I'm going to this wave, ping your ward item, and just say, please, and they'll give it to you. So, you do what you got to do to get that vision, though, at least to get to the 500 so you can place wards. It's a very, very big deal, because I don't think you got wards until, like, 30 minutes in the game. And you should be buying control wards, buy a lot of control wards. On average, you want to have 1 control ward per 5 minutes in a game. So if it's a 30-minute game, you need to have 6 control wards. If it's a shorter game, it's like a 20-minute game, you know, maybe you don't get 4 down by 20 minutes, but as the game goes on, you should definitely be getting closer to 1 per 5 minute on average. And then the final thing is this is similar again. So checking your mini-map before you fight. So what you're looking for is you're looking for your teammates mostly. Like, is your team close enough? Right, so this is sort of similar to get proper vision. It's all sort of the same package, right? It's get your pre-intel and make a decision about what you want to do before you do it, right? So part of that is pressing tab, looking at items. Other part of it is getting vision down so you can know where the enemy team is, so you can make better decisions. Then the third part is looking at your own mini-map to see where your team is and make sure they're going to be close enough to do what you want to do. Sometimes even if they're like in your area on the map, if you're playing a hard engaged champ like Leona, if they aren't like right on top of you, then they might be too far away to follow up on an engage. So you need to ping it, like ping your ultimate and then ping where you're going to go. Like, so if people are around you, ping your ultimate like 3 times and ping, I'm going, I'm going, I'm going. That way they're ready. Because sometimes if you're just randomly sitting there and then you just like throw an ult out of nowhere, people may not be ready for that. So you need to ping, like, communicate as much as possible what you're going to do before you do it, and try to get your team gathered up to do something productive, right? So shot call more. So look for stuff to do. Don't just let your team wander around and just farm random wolves or whatever. Like, most people know a good call when they see it, they just won't make the call themselves, or they're just not thinking about it. So if you say, hey, help me ward, we'll bait Baron, let's go do this. Like, ping your wards, ping Baron, say, let's bait this, and go do it. Or just, like, ping the dragon timer, 30 seconds. Say, hey, let's go do dragon. Go ward it, set it up, be ready. Or maybe it's even like, let's just go ward out their jungle and see if we can pick somebody off in the jungle. You know, just give your team a mission, give them a goal, because once those early towers go down, a lot of people just wander around aimlessly, and it's just like, who's going to get caught first? And a lot of time, your team's going to get caught because of the way that they get squished together, where they have to group because they don't have anywhere else to be on the map, versus your team can be off doing random stuff, like I've said 3 or 4 times. But that's why it always feels like when you're winning, they're grouped and you're not. It's because it's a lot easier for them to group because they have to be grouped. It's because they're naturally going to herd together because they can't be anywhere else. So make sure your team matches that. Make sure you're grouped up, unless you're trying to do a very specific, like, split push strategy. You know, just group up and just get proper vision and make plays on people. Okay, well, that's going to be it. Thank you very much, Vasilis. I hope this helps out. Let me know if you have any questions. Anyone else out there, if you're interested in a coaching session, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I also have a link right here to more coaching sessions if you'd like. I think this is going to be number 121. There's a lot of coaching you can watch on the channel if you want. And I list them by champion. So if you just want to watch more Leona, I've got Leona coaching sessions. I've got Janna, Rakan, Fiddlesticks. We've got them all out there. So just flip through and check them out if you'd like. I do have in-depth champion guides as well if you want to check those out. I'm constantly adding more of those. And then if you would like a coaching session yourself, just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. It's just $20 if you aren't a member of the channel. If you are a PayPal member of the channel, it's just $5 a month, and you get a $5 discount. So it's basically free membership if you just do like one coaching session a month, or you get the first month for free and you can cancel it after that if you want to. But that's just something, part of the package for memberships if you're interested in that. I've got a link here for more information. So the membership is kind of like a Twitch sub that I've started offering on the channel. I started it last year and I've sort of refined it over time. So basically the PayPal one that I mentioned, you get access to our members-only Discord. There are no trolls, no haters. It's a good, fun, clean community. You know, you can come in there and talk about League. You can talk about your day, share funny pictures of your pets, share some memes, whatever you want to do on there. It's a very wholesome, like, cool Discord with very chill people in there. You get free access to game on Viewers Night. We're going to have to move Viewers Night. It has been Tuesday for the last year, but because of my teaching schedule this coming semester, then we might move it to like a Saturday or a Sunday maybe. We're going to still work that out, so stay tuned for that. But you can come play with us. It's just 1 day a week, all normals. You just come in, chill with the community, have a good time, experiment on some new champions. It's great. If I take a 30-minute dodge during a stream and you want to play with me on the PBE, while I'm taking one of those 30-minute dodges, you know, I give members access to that as well. If you want to vote on champions you want to see me play, I don't do the straw poll anymore. I just put a link up on Discord. And people just tell me which champ they want to see. And then you get the $5 coaching on all guides. Or $5 off on all coaching and guides if you're interested. Guides are typically $30, and then those go down to $25. So it's a pretty good deal, I think, as far as coaching goes, the amount of time and effort that I put into it. I think it's a pretty good deal. If you want to be a YouTube sponsor, then you get a lot of the same stuff, the dodges, the members nights, all of that. But instead of the $5 discount on coaching, then you get chat badge recognition on YouTube. You get green text, and then I'm going to be adding some emojis for fun stuff. Like I've got some Rory funny faces for different situations that I'm going to add in here pretty soon. So those are all some options you can take advantage of. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and I'll see everybody next time.